Sure.
What's up, witches?
What's up?
I'm Linda,
And I'm John.
and this is Getting Witchy.
This is Getting Witchy.
And today we are going to be starting our series, most likely, on the tarot.
Yeah, it's going to be at least 3 videos, at least.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, so the much talked about and hopefully anticipated something too. Sorry, we've got some reference material. Just a couple things.
That's not even all of the tarot books we have.
So, Tarot 101. It's basically it's a deck that consists of 2 sets of cards. You have the major arcana, which are the most powerful, 22 of them. They are the most powerful of the cards, oftentimes called trump cards. Now, their origin is debatable because they encompass parts of astrology, numerology. So, there is generally or usually a Hebrew letter on a deck, which is also a number, and that number correlates to the image that is on the card. But at the same time, there's references to Egyptian and Greek, classical Greek.
Yes.
Right. And then the minor arcana consists of the larger of the 2 sets, 56 cards, divided into 4 suits: cups, swords, pentacles, or coins, and wands or staffs.
Yes. So the word tarot is actually closely related to the Hebrew word Torah, which is one of their teaching guides, if I remember correctly. It means the word Torah means the law, and it refers to the 5 books of Moses found in the Old Testament. Tarot may also have roots in ancient Egyptian, the ancient Egyptian word tarosh, which means the way of kings or the royal road. And it could also be related to Thoth, which was the Egyptian god of magic.
Apparently, and wisdom, wasn't
yes,
he? Also wisdom.
I think so. Now, Thoth is derived from, I don't know how this equates, but it's derived from Tani, which means to inquire or to seek an answer. Tarot is also an anagram of the Latin word rota, which means wheel, which actually comes into play in one of the cards. There is a card called the Wheel, or the Wheel of Fortune.
Yep. The origins of the tarot aren't exactly clear, but the doctrines that they represent are easier to trace. The esoteric and metaphysical teachings of tarot are rooted, as I just mentioned, in the mystery schools of ancient Egypt and classical Greece. The word arcana means secrets or mysteries. Now, modern playing cards are based off the tarot.
Yes, off of the minor arcana.
Off the minor arcana. And we're going to talk a little bit more about it in another episode, but basically, spades are swords, hearts are cups, diamonds are either the pentacle or coin, depending on your deck. And then clubs equates to wands or staff. And then supposedly, and again, I'm going to talk about this more. We're going to talk about this more in another episode, but the modern deck was created by a couple of French dudes in like the 1700s or something like that. I can't remember the exact year off the top of my head. You can Google it, as a way of hiding the mystery further and creating something that everybody can play with without getting in trouble.
Yes.
Because you would get in trouble if you were caught with the tarot in the 16 or 1700s.
Yes, it was actually illegal to be using them at that point in time.
So Go ahead.
Now in terms of modern playing cards, the Fool from the Major Arcana is the only card from that particular set to have translated over to our modern playing cards, and it is the Joker.
Yeah, I mean, if you think about, if you've ever looked at a tarot, I mean, the Major Arcana, I can't remember them all, but you've got the Emperor, the Empress, the Devil,
the High Priestess,
the High Priestess, the Priest, the Tower burning. It's burning. The Fool. Did I already say Death?
I think you may have,
but anyway, so of all of those, the only one was the Fool.
Yes.
And actually, the Fool's meaning is quite interesting.
It is. It really is. And we'll get into that when we actually do our
Major Arcana.
Yes, section. Also in modern playing cards, the page and the knight of each of the minor arcana suits were actually merged together to create the jack.
Yeah, I was curious about that because there's 5, I think, right?
Well, there's 4 in the tarot deck per suit. You've got the king, the queen, the page, and the knight.
Okay.
So
those 2 were combined to create just 3.
Yes.
Gotcha. Okay. I don't know. I'm sorry, I'm a little slow. Had a gummy. Oh, they were introduced in tarot was introduced, not regular playing cards. Tarot was introduced in Italy in 1379, although the exact year is debated to some degree.
Yes,
and came from North Africa, according to a writing by
Covelluzo
in 1480. Early 15th century cards show the same suits as we use today. The most popular and recognizable tarot deck was created by Arthur E. Waite, a member of the Order of the Golden Dawn, which is also an interesting organization. This deck was first published in 1910.
Yeah, so a lot of you might know it as the Rider-Waite deck. The reason that Rider was added onto it is because Rider was the publisher of the deck, whereas Waite was the creator, the guy who designed the cards and the symbolism behind them.
Right. I'm gonna go get mine real quick. Go ahead.
Okay. So the Order of the Golden Dawn had other members who produced important books about the tarot. One of them is Paul Foster Case, and the other one is Israel Regardier. We do actually have the book by Paul Foster Case, or one of the books. Looks like this. And if you check our Instagram later, we will have pictures of all of our reference books so that you guys can take a look at them and see if they might interest you, if it might be something worth looking into for you. Now, there are multiple ways that you can make the cards your own. What's the matter?
I can't find it.
Your
the
cards?
Box. Yeah, the little.
They're not in the wooden thingy, the wooden box.
Well, I'll just describe them. I want to just show them.
Do you want me to get mine? If I have a Rider-Waite deck.
Well, I mean, you can, but the deck that I have that you color, because I knew we were about to get into this, how to make the deck your own. So I found, amazingly, on Amazon, go figure, a Rider-Waite deck. Unfortunately, they're small. They're not real big. They're literally,
they're actually smaller than the regular
deck of cards. But it's the images, the drawings of the standard Rider-Waite deck, but you color them in yourself. So the idea is the act of you coloring them in
helps you
connect with those cards, and the cards connect with you because you are designing them in a sense.
So
you're creating them
like the tarot, but coloring book style. And the guide tells you how to color it in.
Right.
And some of those details are super, super tiny because they're small cards.
They are.
So you would need a very, very like ultra fine point pens to color those in.
Yeah, I think we got the fine point gel, like
Mhm.
the 100 or you gave me,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
120 different colors. And yeah, it's fun doing it, but I'll be honest, I've done one card and I've had them like 2 years. Because it took me, Jesus, it probably took about 45 minutes to color one card. And then it's got to sit out
Right, and
because it's
dry.
gel. So,
Right.
and then because the paper is porous for it to soak it up, then you've got to figure out a way, I mean, to coat it to where it's not going to get, you know, how
Mhm.
decks of cards get ruined after shuffling so
Right.
many times. So, but it was fun doing it. That takes a long time to do one card. So other ways to, as you started to say, make the cards your own: contemplation and meditation upon the pictures, learning as much as possible about each card's meaning. Um, a tarot journal would be beneficial in that. And then study each card one at a time and record what physical or emotional response it evokes in you.
Right. So if you're looking at a picture, and we kind of did this in one of my classes at school, we each had to pull a card, and one of them I just found so disturbing that I couldn't even look at it. It was like, no, like it
Okay.
um
Do you remember which one it was?
well, it was from a type of oracle deck that
Oh,
apparently this woman created based off of experiences that she had lived. And
that could potentially be horrific.
yeah, and that card was very, very
Gotcha.
like I don't even want to describe it. um but yeah, like if you have a response of reaction like that to one of the cards, or one of them looking at it just makes you really happy, um or put has you thinking things, write it down
Yeah.
and research into why that is. um and also like use the cards, start using them, sleep with them under your pillow, carry them with you in your purse or your backpack so that they can connect with you and start uh, absorbing your energy. um, but yeah, I mean, just even just doing readings for yourself, one card or however many, is a really good way to connect with them.
But just keep in mind, it takes time, dedication, study, and practice.
Yeah.
Like she was just saying, like, there are multiple types of spreads that you could do, as
Oh
you
yeah,
mentioned.
there's thousands.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, the one card, yes or no kind of.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
You can find a lot of them on Pinterest. The only thing about that is people don't generally give what each position means. Like they just show you,
yeah, no, that's
but
why I recommend anyone,
um,
because they give examples of the spreads and what each card represents:
right.
past, future, present, whatever.
And of course, the more you use your cards, the more they become an extension of you. Um, it is important to make sure that you keep them protected when they're not in use. It is
Especially if you're going to carry them around with you or sleep with them.
right. It is recommended that you keep them wrapped in a piece of fine cloth, such as either velvet, silk, or fine spun cotton. Um, whatever you prefer, but do make sure it's 100% natural fibers. Um, and it's also recommended that the cloth be either white, violet, or blue, as those colors have strong healing energies.
Okay. If possible, oh, interesting, because that's what I keep mine in.
Yeah.
If possible, find a wooden box in which to store your tarot cards when they're not in use. I actually found, was that at a yard sale or was that at a thrift store? We went, one of those antique stores we went to. Yeah, it was an old, I don't know if you remember Levitt's Furniture. Um, I don't know what was in this box, but it came from Levitt's. It's finely detailed carvings on the top and on the sides. and perfect size for a deck of tarot cards. So I bought it and use it for that. So it's interesting. I didn't know that that was recommended use. Wood helps to keep the cards fresh physically and vibrationally.
And this is my box that I keep my tarot cards in. It's actually an old cigar box that I got at a thrift store.
You can't get those anymore. Except from really expensive cigars.
And it's big enough to hold multiple decks, which I actually have like 4 or 5 decks in here. Yeah, but so I mean, if you've got something like that laying around the house that you've always wondered why you have it, maybe that's why you have it.
Sure. The only time anyone other than you should touch your tarot cards is if you're doing a reading for them, because the cards need their energy too, since they're the ones asking the questions. So when they shuffle or cut the deck, but other than that, nobody, you don't lend your cards out to somebody.
No. And if you see somebody touching your deck just casually, like they're not shuffling to do a reading or anything, kindly tell them to put them down.
But you must handle your cards as often as possible.
Yes. I do want to say, though, it is possible to do distance readings because I've done them before. Even though usually you would have the other person shuffle the deck, if you're doing it long distance, obviously they can't physically touch it, but you can ask them certain questions that will help put their energy into it. The way I do it is I would show them the different decks I have, like a picture of them, have them choose which deck they want me to use, ask them how many numbers of times they want me to shuffle the deck, how many times they want me to cut it, and then of course, how many cards do you want me to actually draw for you? And that kind of helps pull their energy into it long distance.
Gotcha. Now, when preparing for reading, make sure to take the time to create the right atmosphere, whether that be meditation, just no alcohol. No alcohol. When starting out, make sure that you set aside some quiet time in a space
where it will not be interrupted.
Where you won't be interrupted.
Yeah.
When doing a reading for someone else, make sure that you're sitting with your back to the north with the other person facing you. I remember reading that.
Yeah, I think we talked about that too, because I thought it was interesting that you would be sitting to the north, considering that east is the direction associated with communication and intellect. So wouldn't you want to have be on that side of I mean, that's just me. That's just the way I see it.
But well, there are several, just like magic in general, there are certain things that are hidden because they don't want all the information. We've talked about that with the wand,
right?
And the
blade.
Like traditionally, they're taught as opposites of what makes sense. Like the blade should be fire,
right?
The wand air, but it's reversed,
right?
So, if you keep your cards in a cloth that is big enough for the what?
For the lay to do
to the spread.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. If the cards that you excuse me, that totally threw me off. If the cloth that you keep your cards in is large enough for a spread, then use that on whatever surface that you can use that for the spread. Right. And that will help to ensure that first of all clean, dry, and the energy of that cloth is familiar to the cards.
Yes.
And then of course, when the reading is done, rewrap your cards in that cloth.
Now, if it's not big enough, you definitely just want to make sure that you are working on a clean, dry level surface. And then of course you want to make sure to shuffle the cards thoroughly. And the resources that I was using indicate that it's important to make sure that not all of the cards are facing the same direction. When you do tarot spreads, there are upright cards, and then there are some that are going to come out as reversed, and that apparently is desirable.
Well, supposedly there's two different meanings,
Well, yes.
but I'm not sure that I totally, again, with those secrets, I'm not sure I totally agree with it. I mean, if you get the, look, we talked about this, you get the burning tower, whether it's upside down or right side up, you're still in a burning fucking tower.
Right.
So, I mean, how is there a positive to that?
Right. It's burning, just not as much. Who knows? But I do also know some people who, when they do tarot readings, they will only use right side up cards. They won't mess with reverse for, and I don't remember what the reason was behind that. I think it did have something to do with the fact that some of them, when they are reversed, it's the same meaning, it's just either amplified or
Right.
not as much. But according to the sources I was reading, you don't want all of the cards to be one direction unless it happens naturally while laying them out. I'm not sure I agree with that, but I mean, I don't change the direction of the cards
Right
before I shuffle, so I just shuffle.
I don't either. Once you're done shuffling the cards, if you're doing a reading for yourself, cut the deck 3 times and then restack them. If you're doing a reading for someone else, give them the cards after you finish shuffling, have them reshuffle the deck, cut the cards, restack them, and then return the deck to you.
So during our conversation about the tarot and readings, we might come up with a couple words that you're unfamiliar with. One of them is current. That is the person you are doing the reading for. So if you're doing a reading for yourself, you are the current. If you've got somebody sitting across from you who came to you for a reading, they are the current. There's also something called a significator. It is a card that is usually pulled prior to shuffling the deck that represents the current in or the situation at hand, if you as the reader know what the situation is. I personally don't deal with significator cards, simply because, for one thing, it's just too much work and I'm lazy.
I've never even heard of them.
But also, it's not always easy to know what card would represent that person. Usually it's going to be either a trump card or one of the face cards in the minor arcana. The magician and the high priestess are usually the ones that are pulled. Magician for a male and the high priestess for a female. But in some cases, like Queen of Pentacles might be more appropriate, or the Knight of Wands or something.
Right.
But you're supposed to base it on either their appearance, their social status, their level of education, like whatever you know about this person is supposed to go into choosing that. And that's, like I said, that's just too much work. That's just too much work.
Awful lot of extra stuff.
And then of course you've got the spread or the lay, which is the formation of the cards on the table when you pull them.
Many types of spreads. There are many types of spreads, and some are quite simple, while others can be extremely complex. I mean, there's 26 card spreads. You basically create a giant freaking diamond, and then fill in the diamond with cards, and every card has
meaning or
a central focus,
right?
If you will. Some, like I said, but I just said, some require like as few as like one card, and then others would take half the deck.
Yeah,
that's not a reading I would want to try to interpret.
We already talked about that.
Yes.
So the 3 most often used spreads that I use, my 3 most often, one is the yes no. It's a 1 card pull, and basically you remove the entire major arcana and half of the minor arcana. So you'll take 2 complete suits out of that. And then you think about a yes, no question. And depending on which cards you pulled out, you want to make sure that you have either pentacles and wands, swords and pentacles, or cups and wands, or cups and swords. Because like if you were using a modern day playing deck, you want to have 1 red deck and 1 black deck. The black deck would represent yes, while the red deck would represent no. So the 2 decks that would equate to the red decks in a modern deck are going to be the no's, and then the other 2 are going to be the yes. So while you shuffle and you cut the deck and you restack them, you want to be thinking about your yes, no question, and then you pull a card. And whatever that card is, the color it represents, that's your answer.
That's an easy pull.
That is.
You could do several questions like that. So you just obviously preparation.
Right.
Then there's the 3, is it 3 or 4?
It's
4, 5. Wait a minute.
What are you thinking of?
Oh, never mind. I jumped ahead to the Celtic Cross.
Oh, that's actually 10.
That's 10. Oh yeah, because you are, yeah. Okay, and then okay.
Yeah.
Sorry. It's a 3-card pull. It's represents past, present, and future. Used to get insight regarding past circumstances, present situations, and future events. All cards of the deck are to be shuffled, cut, and restacked. Then draw 3 cards while focusing on the issue at hand.
Right. So, like, let's say you have a business and you're struggling right now, and you want to see, like, maybe what caused the struggle and what will help you get out of the struggle. You want to be thinking of that while you're shuffling and pulling the cards.
Right. And then there's the Celtic Cross, what I was initially thinking of. If you do this significator card, it's a 10-card spread without not including that. So again, I've never even heard of that, even with all the studying that I've done. So we use this generally for readings, as it tends to give more of a in-depth insight into the situation, because you're gonna, I mean, you have more cards, obviously, so you have more information about whatever the question was. That is your response. So I'm sorry, I stumbled on that one a bit.
That's it.
Did you already show the books?
I have not shown the books yet, not all of them. I did show this one.
This actually came with, I think, a deck.
No, I had to buy that one.
Oh.
I actually bought that one because I lost the one that had come, or not lost, I misplaced it. After I bought this, I ended up finding the one that came with the book. But yeah, it's Pocket Guide to Tarot. Nice, handy little book.
And then there's that one.
And then we have the Pictorial Key to the Tarot, which was actually written by Arthur Edward Waite, the creator of the Waite Tarot deck. We have the Ultimate Guide to the Rider-Waite Tarot by Johann Feibig and Evelyn Berger. We have Guided Tarot for Seamless Readings by Stephanie Capone. An Illustrated Guide to Tarot by Jonathan D.
Not using the Rider-Waite deck.
No, this one is the one he used was, what is it? The Old English deck, I believe.
I've seen it before. I don't own one, but I've seen it.
And then another Pictorial Key to the Tarot by Arthur Edward Waite.
Oh wow.
Dust jacket is missing.
Okay.
But so you've got 2 copies of the same book. because those are both yours. I know I have a couple other tarot books around here somewhere, but I don't think I've ever actually used them. They were given to me after a friend of mine passed away, and I just haven't been able to bring myself to open them.
Oh, and you can buy yourself a tarot deck.
Yes,
It
yes,
does
you
not
can.
have to be gifted to you.
No,
I don't know how that mythos started, but
that was probably one of those things that was started to prevent people from buying them for themselves. Like, oh no, you can't buy it for yourself. It has to be given to you as a gift.
kind of like the money tree.
Yeah, but then I've also had other people say, oh, well, I was told it can't be given to you as a gift, that you have to buy it yourself. No. If you want a tarot deck, buy a tarot deck. If you want to buy a tarot deck for somebody else, go ahead. There really is no rule about that. People just like to be dumb sometimes.
Bossy.
And bossy.
So that's Tarot 101. We will be getting into.
Was that all of it?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
We will be getting in more in-depth discussions. The next episode will be about the minor arcana. So hope you enjoyed this.
Yes.
Hope you have a great day.
Yes.
And thanks for watching.
And on our Instagram, I will also be giving examples of the 3 spreads that we discussed here. Because I know I've taken pictures, like when I do distance readings, I've taken pictures of what the spread looks like. So if you'd like to see what they actually look like, I will be posting that on Instagram.
Cool.
But anyway, peace out, witches.
Peace out.
Be safe. We love you and can't wait to see you again.